wanted to take a moment to recognize it has been officially 1 year since we got back to making America great again. President Trump was sworn in 1 year ago today. There's been so much success. And I just want to say happy anniversary to all who celebrate, and also a big special happy anniversary to all the liberals who continue melting down about it.
Donald J. Trump is now president of the United States.
Welcome back to Sara Gonzales Unfiltered. That remains one of my very favorite leftist meltdowns over President Trump. I'm just not sure that anyone will be able to top it. By the way, I don't know, Stephen, do we have a shot of the, yeah, there it is. Long time coming. You will notice over there, we've got the YouTube official plaque that my producer was so kind to make sure that we got. There's a little funny business going on with it. And if you guys do YouTube a lot, you get it when you hit 100,000 subscribers. I actually have been there for a very long time, but they kept finding reasons not to give me my plaque. But then they ran out of reasons, and they were like, "Oh, it's going to be very obvious that we're playing funny business, I guess, if we don't finally give her plaque." So we did it. I did it, Mom. I did it, Mom and Dad. By the way, let's go ahead and build the second channel up as well. If you haven't yet, we need a plaque for the second channel. And we're experimenting with something. So make sure that you subscribe, Sara Gonzales TX. It's at Sara Gonzales TX on YouTube. So just make sure you're subscribed to both. You may see clips there that you already see on the show, but you're going to see some other extra stuff that you're not going to want to miss. And I'm saying like, now's the time, because I think we're dropping it tomorrow. So Sara Gonzales TX, make sure you're subscribed. Now, there's a lot to be happy about today. You've got what I just mentioned, the anniversary of our great president being sworn back in and all of the great success he's had since then. And also, I was reading the headline and I'm like, God, things just keep getting better. This is a really, really great day. The DOJ has served grand jury subpoenas to these great Minnesota Democrats in the investigation of ICE obstruction. So it says the FBI served subpoenas asking for records and communications, source says. This is Governor Tim Walz, Mayor Jacob Frey of Minneapolis, some random mayor I've never heard of who apparently is the mayor of St. Paul named Mayor Kaoli Her, and of course, Keith Ellison, the state attorney general, and Mary Moriarty, the Hennepin County attorney. They were all sent subpoenas because it turns out the DOJ has some very serious questions whether or not they have been carrying out a conspiracy to obstruct ICE and its operations in the state. I am so here for this. Now, what I'm also here for is Don Lemon going to prison. All of these people need to be thrown in prison, but I'm here. I get it. I got it. It's a process. You can't do it overnight. You want to make sure it's airtight so that it sticks. I got it. I'm with you. I'm here for it. Now, Tim Walz, as you would expect, the high estrogen flowing Tim Walz, Jazz Hands McGee, Tampon Tim, he's not handling it well. He released a statement that said the state of Minnesota is not going to be drawn into political theater. The Justice Department investigation sparked by calls for accountability in the face of violence, chaos, and the killing of Renee Good does not seek justice. It's a partisan distraction. And he goes on to talk about how they're just intimidating public servants standing shoulder to shoulder with their community, which, yes, that is the claim. That's the problem. That is you're standing shoulder to shoulder with the community to block and obstruct ICE from arresting violent That's the point, sir. Yes, correct. Thank you for proving it. Jacob Frey also was like, Donald Trump is trying to intimidate me. But in Minneapolis, we won't be afraid. We know the difference between right and wrong. And as mayor, I'll continue doing the job I was elected to do, keeping our community safe and standing up for our values. That is, golly, has there ever been a masculine man that's liberal? I can't think of one. Steven, can you think of one?
Barack Obama, right? Anthony Fauci.
Anthony Fauci.
They throw the baseballs.
Well, maybe Big Mike.
That's fair.
Big Mike's about the only one I can think of. By the way, I think we missed Big Mike's birthday. I did wish Big Mike a happy birthday on X when I saw Barack posted. But like these they're so lame. These gangly okay, Jacob, go wear your Somalian flag shirt again. And you just look at how badly these people, these government officials are simping for actual criminals. And you start realizing like that's actually the goal. That's just what they want. They just want to make America a crime-ridden wasteland with open borders. Now, I'm not even being hyperbolic. Like all of their actions speak louder than words. I tell my children that all the time. Their actions are proving it time and time again. And also they're just saying the things as well. So you had whenever Don Lemon stormed the church over the weekend with his like little activist buddies, committing a crime, by the way, that they should all be thrown in prison for. I noticed when he did that he repeated this classic talking point from the left that I just kind of want to hone in on for a moment.
Just on the facts. Yes, I am. I want to give you the facts.
No.
Did you know that undocumented people and immigrants commit far less crime than American citizens?
We're done here.
Like what? Did you know that undocumented immigrants commit less crime than actual Americans? Did you know? It's like, first of all, actually 100% of them, if they're here illegally, 100% of them are criminals already. But I digress, okay? I just want to, listen to their argument. This is a talking point that they keep putting out there intentionally.
Undocumented immigrants are much less likely to have committed crimes than American citizens. American citizens commit more crimes than anyone who is undocumented.
Do immigrants commit more crime than people born in the U.S.? No. Here in 1870, immigrants have lower incarceration rates. Is this a study from the future? Yeah, it is. It'll be true then, too.
Native-born populations commit crimes at higher rates than immigrant populations.
I feel like they didn't used to be this retarded. Like I feel, is it the water that they're drinking? I don't know, but they are not. Use your brains, okay? Here's the study that they're hanging their hat on, that actually we should just let in all of these illegals because they commit less crimes or something, from Northwestern. Immigrants are significantly less likely to commit crimes than the U.S. born. Using incarceration rates as a proxy for crime, a team of economists analyzed 150 years of U.S. Census data and found immigrants were consistently less likely to be incarcerated than people born in the United States. They also found, beginning in 1960, the incarceration gap widened, such that immigrants today are 60% less likely to be incarcerated than the U.S. born. Oh, it's just the women and children in search of a better life. That's all. But by the way, your eyes deceive you. Don't listen to your lying eyes as you watch all of these young military-aged men cross over and commit heinous crimes. Don't listen to the family of Lake and Riley, or Rachel Morin, or Jocelyn Nungaray. Don't be fooled. This Northwestern study says that they actually commit way less crime. Well, do you know what? Even if that were true, I don't care. Who cares? So what? Let's say it's 1% of these people committing more crime than they already committed when they entered here illegally. Who cares if it's 1%? It's crime that we don't need to have. But when you start looking at their argument, it completely falls apart. We're not under an obligation to take in any criminals. It doesn't. If you can eliminate 1% or 5% or 10%, whatever the number is, if you can eliminate it, why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you? That's just less crime. Is it like, oh, well, you should just accept a little bit of crime because they're brown and they can't help it? Is that what I don't understand why they think they're like, got him, we got him. We got them. The Americans commit more crimes than the illegals. We should just bring them, just let them flood in mass because a Northwestern study said that they commit less crime. We got them. It's retarded. It's so stupid. But this is the kind of thing that the mainstream media and all of these leftist hacks keep pushing. Well, but only some of them are criminals.
What's the breakdown of the percentage of those who you have in custody who have actually committed a criminal offense versus just the civil infraction?
Every single individual has committed a crime, but 70% of them have committed or have charges against them on violent crimes and crimes that they are charged with or have been convicted of that have come from other countries that are here illegally, first of all, and then they have committed a criminal act while they've been here or in their home countries as well.
It's not 70%.
Yes, it is.
Okay, Mark.
It absolutely is.
70% of everyone
you
you
guys
have
keep
detained
changing your percentage. You pick and choose what numbers you think work, but that is the facts, is that 70% of the people that we have detained have charges against them or have been convicted of charges, and they need to be brought to justice. And we're going to keep doing that no matter how much you guys keep lying and don't tell the public the truth.
That's not true. I think Kristi Noem just broke Margaret Brennan's brain. She is such a condescending, smug bitch. That's not true. Oh, okay, Margaret. Look at her. Actually, I know what narrative I'd like to put forth, and you're not helping me put forth that narrative. You know what actually drives me bonkers? That conservatives in a conservative administration continue going on those programs. Like, we've been working for forever to try to get Tom Homan on here. I guarantee you it would be very difficult to, but they're too busy going on CBS Face the Nation for Margaret Brennan to look down on them with her smug, ugly face. And CNN with all of the, like, why? Why are you guys continuing to do this? You already know they're just going to try to get the gotcha. And the fact of the matter is, that as much as they are going to continue to simp for these people, as much as they are the Margaret Brennans of the world looking down on you because all of these people only some of them are criminals, which means we should just accept them. Let me show you some of the 10,000 illegals arrested by DHS over there in Minnesota. Let's see. Homicide, MS-13 gang member, homicide and drug trafficking. Let's see, rape of 12-year-old girl and kidnapping, procuring child for prostitution. The list goes on. Sexual assault and sodomy of a girl under 13. Like, these are the types of people that are here. Why would we just be like, oh, well, it's only a handful of them. It's only a handful of them. Here's the point. Here in this country, it's like a family, right? It's like, yeah, I don't like my, Uncle George, but he's family. There's nothing to be done about it. I don't love to hang out with him, but what am I going to do? Disown him? Kick him out of the family? You can't kick out the Americans who are committing crimes. They're already here. They're already American. There's nothing we can do about it. We're already stuck with them. But why would you not want to get out the people who don't have to be here? I don't understand what is so hard to comprehend about this, but also I'm not retarded, so I think I just answered the question in and of itself. Make sure that you're subscribed to Sara Gonzales Unfiltered and the new channel that I just talked about earlier, and smash the like button, comment, and do all the things, and then let me know that you've done all the things in the comments. I want to thank our sponsor, the segment Ghost Bed. So I don't know if you've heard of being micro-tired, but it's that feeling that hits when things slow down and your brain tells you to take a nap. But who has time for naps other than babies? Okay. This feeling that you have is because of your sleep quality. So what you need to do, if that's you, go check out Ghostbed. They have award-winning mattresses, over 60,000 glowing reviews, and they've got these, people are like, oh my God, I get hot, I get cold. They actually have cooling features in every mattress that actually senses your body temp and adjusts. So you're never going to get too hot or too cold. You will be comfortable all night. And they've got layers of perfectly crafted support that will adjust with you. Go check them out. And you may be like, but what if I don't like it? Every Ghostbed comes with a 101-night sleep trial. So if you don't like your mattress, if you don't love your mattress, return it for free and get your money back. They're going to give you, Ghostbed, your best deal of the year, plus an extra 10% when you use my code Sara at ghostbed.com/Sara. These prices are really, really incredible. Don't sleep on this. Ghostbed.com/Sara, promo code Sara. I do have a lot of gripes with a lot of congressmen. I do. I don't feel like I'm being too hard on them, but there are few in Congress who actually are doing the heavy lifting. One of whom happens to be my congressman, Representative Brandon Gill, who is doing amazing work with specific regard to calling out the Somalian fraud and not letting all of these Democrats continue to sweep it under the rug. Joining me now is that Congressman, Brandon Gill. Welcome, my friend. It's been a long time. I really do mean what I say. I appreciate all of your great work holding all of these people accountable. And I want to get your reaction first to the DOJ finally serving these subpoenas to Minnesota Governor Tim Walz, Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey, and Keith Ellison over there, the Attorney General, trying to hold them accountable for trying to stop, of course, ICE from detaining dangerous criminals.
Right. And thanks for having me on the show. And thank you for the kind words there.
Yeah.
This is a long time coming, and I'm thrilled to see the DOJ taking action here. You know, what we learned in the hearing that we had a couple of weeks ago, amongst other things, was that Governor Walz and his administration knew about this fraud. They were aware it was going on and deliberately looked the other way because they knew that the Somali community voted as a bloc. They were historically a Democrat voting bloc, and they didn't want to mess up their political standing with that community. And the deal, the sort of Faustian bargain that the Walz administration made was you can defraud taxpayers, you can defraud these very generous welfare programs, and we're going to look the other way, and we expect you to vote for us in exchange. And I think that is flagrantly corrupt, and I'm glad the DOJ is taking action here.
Yeah, I hope that they extend all of these inquiries and subpoenas and such to Ilhan Omar, because it's very strange, Representative Gill. It's very strange when you start looking into, she seems to know all of these people over in Minneapolis who happen to be involved in all of this Somalian fraud. She's like besties with all of them. So I hope that they continue to probe that. But we've been trying to get you on for a couple weeks now. I know we've been going back and forth with your schedule. You're a busy guy, and I get that. But I wanted to share this clip of you grilling former special counsel at the U.S. Department of Justice, Brendan Ballou. Watch.
Yes, does large-scale Somali immigration make Minnesota stronger or weaker?
Certainly stronger.
Certainly stronger. Do you know what percentage of Somali-headed households in Minnesota are on food stamps?
No.
54%. Do you know what that number is for native Minnesota-headed households?
Well, to be clear, a majority of the...
It's 7%. There's a big difference between 54% and 7%, is there not?
Excuse me, sir, could I answer the question?
Let me move on. We've got a lot of questions here. What percentage of Somali-headed households in Minnesota are on Medicaid?
I don't know.
It's 73%. Do you know what that number is for Minnesota native households?
Again, you're using the phrase Minnesota native households, but the majority...
The number is 18%. That's quite an astounding difference.
I don't understand what they don't get. Again, you're using the term Minnesota native. It's like, guy, if they're going to come into our country and be a drain on our economy, on all of our welfare programs, they shouldn't be here. It's really that simple.
You know, that's exactly right. And what he was trying to do was obfuscate the fact that this is fraud committed predominantly by Somali immigrants to the United States. Just remember that in 1990, there were virtually no Somalis in the United States at all. In other words, they're here as a result of our immigration policies, which is why I think that this is an immigration issue at its root. But that's what he wanted to step away from. He cited some very bogus statistics. I don't know where he got them from because they're not true. That most of those Somalis who are engaged in this or who are in Minnesota were actually born in the United States. That's not true. The reality is that most of them were born in Somalia. And what we know from this fraud, again, I would be okay going after fraud. We ought to go after fraud wherever it is, no matter what community is engaged in it, whether it's somebody who was born in the United States, born somewhere else. I don't care what race you are, what religion, but the reality is that this fraud was predominantly committed by Somali immigrants and Somalis who we very generously allowed to come into the country. And that's what I was trying to get there.
Yep.
The reality is these Somalis are not assimilating into American culture. And you can see that on the welfare statistics that I was citing. It's over 80% of Somalis in the United States, or in Minnesota, excuse me, are on welfare. That is substantially higher than for native-born American citizens. Which is a whole lot lower. But the most damning fact, I think, is that even after being in the United States for 10 years or longer, the percentage of Somalis in Minnesota who are on welfare is 78%. In other words, they're not coming here to live the American dream. They're not coming here to be productive members of society. They're coming here to get free stuff. And they're getting free stuff from Democrats who are trying to use that to buy off their votes.
And you're exactly right. And then on top of that, to add insult to injury, you have people like your colleague, Ilhan Omar, going out there and saying the USGD states, which, by the way, I don't think she understands the S in US already stands for states. So she's just saying United States. But aside from that, to add to your point, she just shows such disregard and disdain for the country that brought her here from her war-torn country, gave her all of this. She's risen to the level of congresswoman, and she still has the audacity to turn around and slap us in the face for providing her all of that opportunity.
That's exactly right. I mean, Somalia is a failed state. It's an incredibly corrupt place to be. It's incredibly violent.
Yeah.
And, we should expect whenever you import tens of thousands of people from a part of the globe where corruption is the norm, or the norm of the people in that country to deal with the government there is to try and defraud the government, isn't to be a sort of a productive member of society or to engage in a social contract with their other fellow citizens and try to sort of lift the country up. It is to get as much as you can. And whenever you bring those people into the United States, you should expect that behavior to continue. And that's exactly what happened. But it's frankly just incomprehensibly disgusting the way Ilhan Omar talks about our country, about the country that has given her so many opportunities and have given so many Americans so many opportunities. All she has is disdain and contempt, not only for our country and our founding values, but for fellow citizens.
Yeah. Brandon, can you do me a favor? I do want to ask you some more questions, but on the topic of Ilhan Omar, I need you to do me a favor. I need you to get the message to her that since America is so bad, I will personally fund a one-way ticket back to Somalia. I will pay for it. She doesn't even have to pay. I will give her this parting gift. She can go back to Somalia with all of her buddies, and she can just live there, actually, since she hates this country so much. If you could just get her that message.
Well, the president has said that self-deportation flights are free, so she's welcome to take one.
Yeah, she can just, what is it, CBP Home? She can just download the app and hey, it's on us, So you actually joined the Sharia-Free America Caucus. Tell me more about I didn't even realize that this was a thing. I'm so happy that it is, because I'm sure your constituents here in the state of Texas especially are very, very concerned with all of this Islam creeping in, with all of these, epic cities, the all Islamic compound. I mean, this is really, really scary stuff that is happening here in this country. So tell me more about this caucus.
Well, this caucus is, first of all, a recognition that the mass importation of Islam into the United States is a serious problem. And I do hear from constituents all the time who are saying, I don't want to be woken up every morning at 5 a.m. hearing a Muslim call to prayer in my rural home in North Texas. That's not the country that I grew up in. That's not the country that I live in now. And I don't want to see my local community fundamentally transformed because of mass Islamic migration. But it's also furthermore a recognition that Islam as a political ideology is fundamentally incompatible with the United States, with our culture, with our governing framework. And we have to recognize that that we enjoy certain freedoms and values and opportunities in the United States, and those freedoms and values and opportunities rest on top of a cultural foundation that we need to preserve.
Yeah.
Whenever you look at the incompatibilities, look at the United States governing framework. We have certain ideas about freedom of speech that Islam as a political ideology doesn't agree with. We don't have the same conception of freedom of speech. We don't have the same conception of freedom of religion. We don't have the same conception of separation of church or mosque and state that the Islamic world does. And what this caucus is doing, it's fundamentally a recognition that we need to take that mass Islamic migration very seriously. And in my opinion, and I think in the opinion of many of my colleagues who are in that caucus, we need to end mass Islamic migration. It is transforming Western Europe. It's transformed London and Paris for the worse. And the working class people of those countries are the ones who are bearing the brunt of that. We don't want that to happen in the United States.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And it's really nice to see some of you guys standing up. It's like, okay, guys, the UK, they're doing the experiment for us. They're literally doing it for us. We don't need to do this and follow in their footsteps. We see what's happening. It's not going to end well. And I appreciate all of your great work on that, because as I know, I'm sure you are getting this as well. They get very violent very quickly and very aggressive when you go after what they are doing to this country. So it comes with all sorts of fun death threats and stuff that I'm sure that you also experience. So I appreciate all of that. Well, I wanted to ask before I let you go. Over the weekend, obviously, I'm sure you saw Don Lemon and a bunch of radical leftists stormed a church service in Minneapolis, traumatized the children there, traumatized all of the congregants. Should they be charged with the FACE Act and thrown in prison?
Absolutely, they should. The FACE Act has been weaponized against conservatives and Christians and pro-life activists for decades now. And we've been very firm against that. I've actually co-sponsored a bill that would abolish the FACE Act, that would repeal it. But as long as that law is on the books, it ought to be used equally against rioters and protesters who are barging into churches to disrupt worship services. I mean, can you think of something that is more un-American than harassing somebody while they're trying to praise God? For a long time in the West, we had an idea that whenever you were in a church service, you were in a sanctuary, you were somewhere that you could not be harassed, that you shouldn't be harassed, where hopefully that type of political activism would be checked at the door, where somebody could go and worship in peace. And that's something that the left fundamentally disagrees with us on. They have just nothing but raw, unadulterated contempt for the Christian faith. And this is just another example of that.
Yeah. And instead, they want to continue protecting actual criminals. Like it's actually incredible to see how far that party has fallen. Representative Brandon Gill, I appreciate you, all of your great work. And next time you're back in town, I hope to see you soon. Tell Danielle I said hi.
Well, thanks for having me on.
Thank you. Talk soon. All right. Want to thank our sponsor before we take a quick break here, MD Hearing. So I don't know if you guys realize this. If you are losing your hearing and you've had to go and check out hearing aids, the standard hearing aid, I was shocked when I heard how much it's like thousands of dollars just so you can hear again. That's nuts. Don't do that. Go over to MD Hearing. They were created by a medical professional who saw his own patients struggling to afford hearing aids and decided to fix a broken system instead of accepting it. They make high quality, rechargeable digital hearing aids. They're very small. They're very comfortable. You fit it all the way in your ear. There's no like bulky hardware or anything like that. It's very, very easy. No one's going to see it. No one's going to know that you have a hearing aid. Go check them out. You've got a risk-free trial and a money-back guarantee, so nothing to lose. Get big savings with a tiny hearing aid with MD Hearing. You can go to shopmdhearing.com, use promo code Sara to get a pair of hearing aids for $297. They're adding a free extra charging case, $100 value, just for listeners of this program. Shopmdhearing.com, use promo code Sara to get that pair of hearing aids for $297. So you can see there's a recurring theme. I have like a wish list of people who I need arrested and I need them put in prison and I need it to happen now. I'm like the Oprah of like, you get prison time and you get prison time and you get prison time. There's enough to go around. Okay. Because we also need to be arresting these violent leftists. They come after conservatives because they have a different opinion. And I mean, you're lucky if you don't go on a college campus and share an opinion and get a bullet in your neck these days. You're lucky if that doesn't happen to you. I saw a video online of this is a journalist and co-founder of Surge Media. His name is Frank Scales, and he was just attacked. Seemingly out of nowhere. I can't wait to hear from him, but I want to play for you some of this unprovoked assault on him on a bus in Philly. Watch.
What am I? Oh, she doesn't want to be on camera now. Why not? Whoa, 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 whoa. I'll record. All right. Good. Why do you do that? Why do you do that? I mean, you're so big. What am I? Oh, are you still going to film me? Whoa, 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 whoa. How am I a fascist? Whoa, 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 whoa! She missed. She got the back of my head with pepper spray. That was interesting. She's still there. You and the shit that you she's coming. You're gonna get. Okay, so her name's Paulina. Paulina Reyes.
There she is. You want to wait? You want to hang out for the cops?
She's coming back. Yeah, she's gonna wait for the cops. She's coming
back.
back.
Fascist and you harass people.
You want to hang out?
That's your problem.
You want to hang out for the cops?
How am I a racist?
You want to hang out?
How are you a racist? How are you a racist on the internet?
Whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa.
Go and see.
Why are you so mad?
Why? Because you talk shit about Islamic people, you talk shit about black people, you talk shit about Mexicans, and you post it on the internet.
Come here.
That sounds like a good time, honestly. Joining me now is Frank Scales, the co-founder of Surge Media. Frank, I appreciate you taking the time today. I just want you to set the record straight for me. What was happening leading up to this that caused you to start recording?
I was looking out of the window, enjoying my ride on the bus, and this lady behind me started screaming at me. She essentially said, "You're a fascist, you're a racist, I seen you on the internet," and I said, "I disagree with that characterization you're making about my work, but I hope you have a good day." And when she saw that she couldn't bait me into an argument, she got more aggressive, and I immediately started recording. I'm very grateful that I started recording pretty quickly and captured the whole interaction on my phone, and we posted it, but it was out of nowhere. And what shocks me is how fast she went from trying to bait me to getting violent with me. It was very unnerving.
Yeah, I mean that seems to be the typical Democrat liberal MO is to bait you, and then when that doesn't work, they get very angry and they get very violent. As it turns out, I also personally love, Frank, that she said something along the lines of, you said, "How am I a racist?" And she said, "How are you a racist? I saw it on the internet." Like what? I don't even understand how she pieced that one together. So I want to, for the audience, because I know that there's been a lot of online speculation. You guys attended school together at the Community College of Philadelphia. And so you knew each other. You had a seemingly good relationship. She was like interviewing you about being student body president. So what happened, Frank? When did this turn sour?
So it's actually a very interesting turn of events that happened at Community College of Philadelphia. First, I was investigating for saying that the founding fathers of this country were good people. And then I endorsed President Trump, and I got impeached and removed from my position as student government president. At that point, everybody turned on me. But for a few months there, I was organizing events like every day. Like, student government was my life at that point. I was so obsessed with it. I loved it so much because I just love politics. So I was really focused on organizing events. And Paulina, I think, was in the newspaper. She was in the newspaper. So she did an interview with me at one point, and yeah, she would come to my events. And, after I endorsed President Trump, I think she actually wrote a hit piece on me in like the college newspaper. Wow. But at this point, I have community college students actually hawking me down and assaulting me on buses. I think the Community College of Philadelphia needs to come out, and they need to denounce political violence for my own safety.
I completely agree. I want to, let's rewind for a second. You said that you got investigated? You were in trouble for saying that the founding fathers were good?
Yes. So it was in the beginning of the semester. They actually took me into a room and interrogated me for like 55 minutes. And the things that we hear about, like, yes, it was crazy. And essentially they accused me of hate speech, and they went along. Yes, the conduct coordinator actually essentially acted as a prosecutor. They put me in front of like a jury, and the jury was made up of an administrator, a representative from like the teachers union, and a student. And it was really weird. And the reason, and at first they actually found me guilty of hate speech. But then I said, they sentenced me to diversity and equity training.
No!
Re-education camp.
It just keeps getting worse.
So at that point, I said, I'm not going. I'm not going. So what are you going to do about it? And I appealed, and they actually dropped all the charges. They said that I was wrongly found responsible for the case, so that I continued as student government president. And at that point, I was totally awake to the woke mind virus that has taken over our school system, and how harmful it is, and how people don't actually have the freedom to be Republicans and conservatives in student organizations and on campus. And I came out and endorsed President Trump a few days after he was shot. When he said fight, 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 I was no longer going to moderate my political beliefs at all. At that point, I felt it was my responsibility to the Republic to come out and speak my mind fully. And they impeached me for that and removed me from student government. But guess what? I'm grateful they did that, because I moved on to bigger and better things. And I would say to everyone, if you just continue speaking truth, people may mistreat you, they may kick you out of things, they may stop you from doing what you're passionate about, but if you just keep speaking truth, you're going to wind up in a good place. And I've wound up in a great place. But Community College of Philadelphia needs to come out and denounce political violence right now.
Yeah, they really, I completely agree with you. And I want to just show for the record here who we're dealing with and who we're turning into, the new journalists. It's not a surprise when you see how CNN and MSNBC and all of the left-wing hacks, they do a lot of journalism over there. Well, this Paulina character, she also wants to be a journalist. She interned at like the news or whatever. She lists on her LinkedIn, coincidentally enough, that she's also an activist, which to me, I mean, when you read this, Frank, it's like, I've worked with community advocacy work and grassroots movements for labor rights, social justice reform and all this. And it's like, oh, okay, yeah, this is kind of indicative of the problem, which is that all of these left-wing activists are just installing themselves into all of these media communities. And that's how you get the CNNs and MSNBCs and the Don Lemons of the world.
Well, we have a woke industrial complex that has started at the educational level, where we have people getting educated to go into a ton of different professions. It could be healthcare, it could be media, it could be politics, it could be education. These people get, a certificate to do whatever they want to do, but they also get indoctrinated into this cult. And they carry those beliefs into their professions. And we're seeing that now. And me personally, when I'm out there interviewing people, I'm asking why people are protesting. And you've seen that I actually got pepper sprayed a week ago at a protest. I was asking why people were out there protesting. I was not bringing my political beliefs into my work as a journalist. They're two different things. And it's unfortunate that people on the left don't see that. Everything they do is activist, and it needs to stop. And people who commit political violence, like this person, they need to be identified, they need to be charged with crimes, and they need to be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law, because it needs to stop.
So that's my next question for you. I would say the most important question that I have: are you planning on pressing charges? Have you had a conversation with the police department? Like, where are we on that?
Absolutely. I'm definitely planning on pressing charges.
Great.
So we did an interview with the cops. We spoke to detectives. They're filing all the paperwork, and we're going to have, that continue. That's going to evolve. Hopefully we get more information on that soon. But here's the thing. The district attorney in Philadelphia is Larry Krasser. And I don't know if you know about Larry Krasser, but he's woke. He actually called ICE, the Gestapo, a Gestapo force a few weeks ago. He actually assaulted me in the park when I confronted him a few months ago. He grabbed my phone from my hand and called me anti-American and said that the people I support are fascists. When I asked him why, he couldn't explain. But this is the gentleman who just a month ago, when somebody took my phone at a protest and smashed it, his office gave that individual who smashed my phone diversion. So he will not hold people accountable. But the silver lining here is that Larry Krasner did such a bad job in prosecuting criminals that the state actually had to step in and take authority away from Larry Krasner so that the state could prosecute crimes committed on SEPTA. So what we want to happen is we want the state to step in here and prosecute this criminal.
Yeah. I mean, this cannot be happening on American soil. Even if, let's say that you were even just saying something to taunting her, whatever, teasing her. It doesn't matter. You can't put your hands on someone and assault them because they say something you don't like. I think that we need to be real clear on the standard that we're setting here in this country. Frank, tell everyone where they can find you.
surgemedia.us. If anybody would like to contribute or just find our social medias and share our content, like our content, because that's super important for us to spread information rooted in truth, faith, and accountability. You can find us at surgemedia.us, SURGEMEDIA, surgemedia.us. On the internet. You can find our content. If you would like to contribute, you can contribute there. And you could also submit a tip. We have a tip hotline because we're going to be investigating waste, fraud, and abuse and a lot of other things. We're going to hold our city leaders and we're going to hold people in this country accountable because it's so important that we hold people accountable.
Well, hold on. You said truth, faith, and accountability. And apparently in this day and age, that makes you a Nazi and a fascist. So you better be careful with that, Frank. That can get you in a lot of trouble. I appreciate all of the young people like you who are going out there and getting all of this footage that, you know, the mainstream media is too scared to get. You're out there. You mentioned you've gotten pepper sprayed. Your phone's been smashed. I mean, it takes a lot of guts to go out there and do that kind of thing. So I would encourage everyone to go out there and support Frank and his work. Thank you so much. Keep us posted on this case.
Absolutely. I appreciate you. Thank you for having me on, and thank you for allowing me to speak about this unfortunate event and share my story and my message. I appreciate you a lot.
Yeah, of course. Keep up the great work. Frank Scales, Surge Media. All right, let's go ahead, and we got to take another quick break, but I do want to thank our sponsor really quickly, Cove Pure. I love Cove Pure. You guys know that I'm like Miss Maha over here at Blaze. And what you might not realize is that there is such nasty stuff in your water. They've got, I mean, don't get me started about the fluoride, okay? But Cove Pure is amazing. They've got a clear wave technology. It's certified to remove up to 99.9% of contaminants. I literally have this in my dressing room. Like right down the hall. I've got this in my dressing room. It's the only water that I drink. Pretty much anything that isn't in water or that isn't water, PFAs, microplastics, pharmaceutical residue, fluoride, that all gets removed with Cove Pure. It's the purest water that you can get. And you can choose, you see that the device, it's a countertop device, and you can pick, you want it hot, you got it hot. You want it cold, you got it cold. You want it room temp, you can get it room temp. And it's very, very easy. Literally no installation needed. It sits right on your countertop. You don't have to drill any holes or call a plumber. You just fill it up with tap water, plug it in, and it does its thing. Cove Pure makes it so easy to get pure water with the push of a button. So listen, improve your health with clean water. Right now you can get $200 off for a limited time if you use my link, covepure.com/Sara. That is COVEPURE.com/Sara. I don't mean to alarm you, but I regret to inform you that Virginia has gone full retard. And it shouldn't be any surprise. Why? Because Abigail Spanberger was just sworn in as Virginia's governor 3 days ago. And she's a deranged liberal white woman, so she's handling it about how you would expect. And I just want to remind everyone who we're dealing with here, okay? This is during COVID, and I think that she didn't get the suffocation message with you're not supposed to put the plastic bag on your head. That's very dangerous,
She's got a fan on it, though. She's good. She took a vacuum, the part of the vacuum cleaner, and she's good to go.
Like, where is the fan going?
It's blowing the air out, and don't question it. What are you talking about? What did you do? She's being safe.
It's so stupid. So this is actually Virginia's governor. This dumbass is doing the following, okay? One of her first acts, she repealed ICE cooperation because you can't have that. We want the criminals on the streets. I've explained this to you multiple times. They want the criminals, okay? And Virginia Democrats now control every level of state government. You guys, you had Glenn Youngkin. Like, you could have actually made some progress to not be a total hellhole. And instead they were like, nope. We want the law-abiding Americans to not feel safe. And now they want to make Virginia a safe haven for illegal aliens and criminals, because here's what they're doing. A newly introduced bill will guarantee illegal alien children free education in Virginia. Come on over. It's all free. Come on over. Another one, to go softer on crime, they've introduced a bill to prohibit the state from mentioning an accused criminal's prior conviction to the jury during the guilt phase of the trial, so that serial criminals won't, they won't like hold it against them. They won't hold it against them that they've just gone on to commit crime after crime after crime after crime. On top of that, but wait, there's more. I'm not done. The Democrats have introduced a bill to eliminate mandatory minimum sentencing for rape, manslaughter, assaulting a law enforcement officer, possession and distribution of child pornography, and all repeat violent felonies. You guys think that I'm being hyperbolic. I'm not. They want the crime and the criminals to thrive in the state of Virginia. They also, if you are white, they hate you. Democrats have introduced a bill that discriminates against white men in government contracting. So for discretionary contracts under $100,000, white men will not even be considered unless there's literally no competition. And even then, they can award contracts to women or minority-owned firms that are 5% more expensive than a bid from a business owned by a white man. So they can take your taxpayer dollars and they can actually spend more to be diverse and inclusive. Guys, the DOJ needs to sue them like yesterday. They need to be sued immediately. As soon as this is actually signed into law, they need to be sued into oblivion. That is blatant discrimination. By the way, if you live in Virginia, get the hell out. She's raising taxes on basically everything from retail delivery, so like Amazon, Uber Eats, FedEx, UPS, guns and ammo, you name it, and dry cleaning. There's a tax for that. There's a tax for that. There's a tax for that. Are you understanding why the midterms are so important? Are you understanding why we say elections have consequences? Do you understand what is at stake here? Every single time we ask you to go to the ballot box, you can have something good. You can build something good in the state of Virginia, in the state of wherever, and it can all just be just like that. Just run into the ground, especially when you are electing crazy liberal white women. I mean, there were warning signs, guys. What are you doing, Virginia? There was the warning right there, and you still did it. Come on.